Thank you, Beth. Fellow Toastmasters, sometimes you come across a book or an idea or a thought that really makes you stop and think. And what was it, Charlie Rose, who does this TV show at night, he had on Don Rumsfeld. And I've always been kind of a fan of a guy who's a can-do, self-starter. He's actually been, kind of in a couple of important roles, like, working for President Ford, Nixon, all the way up through Bush and all the way through these different things. And he's been in some interesting roles as Secretary of Defense, Secretary of this, Secretary of that. And I was like, okay, well, what haven't you done? Well, he had this folder of quotes and sayings that he came up with over the years. He called them Rumsfeld's rules. Actually, it was Gerald Ford who said, those are Rumsfeld's rules. They actually named them and said, everyone should read these. And it's a great book if you have a chance to go out and read. And one of the things that I came across, like one of them is it takes talent to hit a target that no one else can hit. But it takes genius to hit the target that no one else can see. I like that's interesting, right? I mean, that kind of goes beyond this. And so when I realized it was time to speak today, and it was my opportunity, once a year to get up and do a presentation at this group, because you all never get to hear what I have to say. I was thinking about a lot of different things, and one of them is Rosemary's passing, and that was kind of one of those things where it's like, how do you process that? How do you bring that in? It touches you in a way that is deep, but at the same time it's processing. And so I was thinking about the rules of my life. What has kind of driven me, and I realized that the rules of my life come from the women I've known, the strong women who have been, inspiring, have been the kind of things that have really made a difference. Like my mom. My mom is a great person, and one of the rules she always said is, you got to have fun along the way. One of her favorite lines is, "Get it? Get it? Good? Yeah. Okay." The journey's interesting, but the destination is history. And if you're finding your way along through the paths of life, what is it that you really want to see? What do you want to learn? How are you going to get there? And if you do get there, then where do you go next? And is it the destination you're trying to get to? And if you're so focused on the destination, we went out to California in the last week or two, about 3 weeks ago, we went out to California for this conference and had a good time, got to see a lot of different things. But we drove along the Pacific Coast Highway, which goes back and forth and back and forth. It was an incredible drive. And I was thinking, we could have just gotten on the highway and gotten to our destination. But I've got 2 daughters, and I wanted them to be able to experience the terror of going back and forth through these roads. And gosh, Dad, couldn't you slow down? But you got to buy a ticket. You got to get in life. When I was right out of work, or right out of college, one of my first jobs was working for a company called Fingerhut. And Fingerhut had a warehouse, not a data warehouse, but it was a physical 1 million square foot warehouse that we were writing software for. I was in charge of the conveyor system, and other people were writing other parts of it. But the trouble was that we're working with this company out of New York, and we're trying to get to this little town in the middle of Tennessee, in the middle of nowhere, and people were spending an entire day just fighting Atlanta traffic to get to the place. And the lady that took over our team, Rachel O'Brien, she came out and said, "You know what? This is crazy. This is crazy to be spending, a day on Monday and a day on Friday and getting 3 days of work out of our people." She chartered a jet and took us, said, "We're going to fly you right in, fly you right out, and you get that extra 2 days worth of work." And the thing was, she turned this project from being one where it was struggling and floundering into one where we had the backing of, someone that we had a lot of respect for. And Rachel brought us in that team to a place where it felt like you're really making a difference. So Rachel's rules, rules are made to be broken. Think outside that box. Hit that target that no one else can see. Another rule. When I joined Toastmasters, and actually the Spark Plug Award is for B. Bernay, another woman who was very, very important in my life because she taught me one thing about Toastmasters. She said, when you get up, Mike, you're always so frowny and you're just so intense. You just smile like, but take a breath and breathe and enjoy it. Slow down. You know, life it's a journey. It's a path, it's fun. And if you can come up with something fun, you know, tell a funny story, have some fun with this. I mean, don't sweat the small stuff. My grandma Wallace always said, this is farm girl from Wisconsin, you know, and whatever you want to say, but my grandma Wallace was the woman in my life who had just a ton of influence. She had 7 sisters. She's the oldest. And so she always had these little sayings. She said, if it's my party, we're going to do things my way. And I remember when my mom was telling me about how she was in Florida and they were going to go shopping. And so my grandma opened up my grandpa's wallet and was looking through it. She takes out, you know, like $80 and leaves 10 for him. He's like, that's enough for him. But she always said, don't sweat the small stuff. And the book, you know, that we've got that does the things, don't sweat the small stuff. That's from my Grandma Wallace, who, you know, always had those little 50 cents, those cool things. And as I close this out, I think of other women like Rosemary, who have the guts to show up. When you look around this room, okay, there's not a lot of estrogen here. And yet, Rosemary got in the game and realized that if you don't get in the game, you know, then that's the only time you can be certain of what's going to happen. And you got to show up, you got to get in the game, you got to take chances, you got to try. And so when you think about the rules of life, yeah, there's some great books out there. There's some wonderful sayings you can take. You can work them into your life however you want to, but pay attention to the people you're with. And always enjoy every sandwich.